Hello, I'm Kristen. Welcome to In the Good, and here is our weekly energy update. So let's just see what wants to come out for the week. What do we need to talk about? What's coming to light? How are we lit up? What are the validations that need to come up and out? How do we trust our inner knowing? Where is our intuition taking us? What lies beneath? What's coming to light? What do we need to know right now? Existence. This week is about the discovery or continuing the discovery of how you're moving forward in the world, given all you've been through, all the ups and downs, all the knowledge that you know. Where do you really want to move forward to? And in this week, I think it's okay to take some quiet time, a bit of a pause. This is a week of contemplation, reflection, meditation. Meditation can be just waking up in the morning and taking a couple of deep breaths for a few minutes, being still. Maybe it's taking those deep breaths in the car when someone cuts you off. There's something definitely here about being in stillness as opposed to reacting right away. Perhaps you are repatterning how you react to certain people and situations in your life. I think you've come to realize that there's no point in expending energy where it's not necessary, or giving your energy to a person or situation that isn't worthy of it. Okay. What else? Nine of Pentacles, King of Swords. Not just only being, your own free agent, in discovery that even though you may be working in groups of people or in partnerships, that you don't need to rush into being so direct all the time. That sometimes standing in your truth, it's between the words. It's the space between the words. It's how you're speaking to someone by saying less, by standing in your power of the knowledge of what you know you have created and are in the middle of creating and will create. Maybe something hasn't manifested yet, and it's not about proving to anybody else what you know you can do. And you can stop trying to prove it to yourself. You can just sit in this place of, I have the power to be a creative, to be a free agent for myself. That although I work in a collective of people, whether it is at a job or it is within your communities, your partnerships, that I am an independent thinker. I exist as an individual within a group. It's the King of Swords. There may also be somebody who is very direct. What's coming to me is that there's a person in your life who's very, very direct with you, very, very honest, and you find it to be very sexy. That doesn't mean they're going to be a lover or they are a lover or someone that you're going to date, but you're attracted to an authenticity in a way that perhaps you never have before in all the areas of your life. You're drawn to that which you want to be and which you are becoming. With the Knight of Pentacles, moving slowly and steadily forward, not feeling the need to rush, not feeling the need to rush in with your words. Some of you out there, maybe people are asking you, what's your plan? How are you going to move forward with that? What are the steps? And as opposed to trying to rush again to prove to them that you know what you're doing, maybe you want to communicate that that you're taking your time. For some of you, you don't need to answer the question right away. So if it's coming via text, via email, you can take your time. You don't have to get back to a person right away. You know, in work or romance. Perhaps, you know, there's a person that you're dealing with that takes their own time. You know, they don't rush to get back. And yet you feel the need, you have to rush every single time and come out with the perfect thing that you have to say about, you know, whatever it is that's being asked. Or maybe it's not even a question, maybe they're commenting and you feel the need to ask them a question or engage in some way. And I think the engagement is simply being present. Being present with yourself, being present with them, being present with the question mark within yourself before needing to answer the question, you know, physically. So it's taking time this week, not rushing in, not giving the answer that you think that you should give. Maybe there's a stock answer or a way that you always answer certain people in your lives. And perhaps you are getting curious and playing around with, you know, new patterns of thinking, new ways of expressing yourself. You know, perhaps you've let go of an unuseful, you know, pattern of thinking or talking to yourself. But when you communicate with people, you're still saying the old thing. You're thinking the old thing first and saying it before you can even, you know, sit with that place in yourself. It's like, wait a second, I've changed. Why am I going back to that old way of answering? Why is my thought pattern doing that? And it's because simply you haven't quite integrated it yet. You are in the process of integrating it. And that's why it's okay to take a little bit of time, even if it's just a few minutes. You don't need to rush, right? Hanged man, you're looking at things differently now. You're seeing things very differently. What are you reaching for now? You know, how are you trying to direct your energy? What are you trying to manifest as you sculpt, you know, the energy vibration of what you say, you know, what you do? Again, it's sort of like, can you tell people something without words? In romance, this could be, you know, it's the way you look at someone, physical touch. But in, you know, friendships and work as well, it can be, some of you out there, you really want to support someone, and it's like these long monologues, and that's not what the person needs. The person needs you just to look them in the eye, and so that they know that you're with you. But it can be very, you know, it's it can be very physically uncomfortable when you're in this position, right? And you're seeing things from a new way, or playing with, you know, getting used to walking through life a different way, seeing things a different way. And it's okay to, you know, be compassionate with yourself if you kind of slide back into another way of being. You know, it's, you just take a pause. I'm really getting that some of you journaling every morning would help, or journaling every evening would help. Oh, gosh, I had a mentor a long time ago that, you know, gave me this process, and it was really interesting, where you could go through different points of your day in the evening, and if there was something that you want to change, you can kind of see yourself doing it in that moment. I mean, obviously you really can't go back in time and change it, but I think it's like a, you know, having this, you know, somatic experience where you're not just sitting and thinking, I should have said this or done that, but you can really feel yourself saying it, really feel yourself doing it that way, and be gentle with yourself as you're in this review. It's not to sit there at night and beat yourself up when you're trying to relax. It's like, you know, okay, this is maybe what I want to try next time, or it's simply just, again, the integration of it. It's the reinforcement of it. For some of you, you have people in your life that you can talk to that are going to reinforce So don't be afraid to reach out to your friends, to your family, to whatever it is, you know, a therapist, someone that can remind you of how you've changed. Because sometimes we need that, you know, we've changed and we know it, but sometimes it's nice to, you know, commiserate, you know, with the people that we're in alignment with and with the people that we trust. The people that we trust ourselves to be vulnerable with and talk about these things. So perhaps that's part of this, you know, reevaluation. You know, it's maybe we need to relook at who we're telling our vulnerable things to, who we're being vulnerable with, who we're telling our sensitive stuff with. Sometimes when we're in a place of feeling bad, we have anxiety, we have self-doubt, we're having our worth issues come up. I mean, these things are all human. Every single person has this stuff. And sometimes we'll kind of just either talk to who's ever there, or we think that this is a safe person to discuss this stuff with, and then we realize, no, they're not. And the thing is to not beat yourself up for doing that. You have to realize that you're a human being and we need support. And you know, I think it's in the attempt to share and to not be alone in something, as opposed to constantly putting ourselves in a place of suspension, in a place of isolation. You know, sometimes when we're in these processes and we're changing, it can be a little bit like we're constantly here by ourselves in this place. And there's a balance of, when do I take that time to be in a pause that is, you know, taking time to myself, and when do I really need to reach out to people? But there can be, and I think, you know, for you, there may have been a misinterpretation of who was safe or cool, you know, who would be understanding. And you might have found out recently that, wow, that was not the right person to talk with. Wow. And it's just, you know what, you were attempting to connect, and that is a beautiful thing. And we just learn to feel the vibe. We learn to feel into, you know, how we feel. You know, often if you're with somebody and you feel rushed, or you're pouring yourself out, or you're being vulnerable, and what you're getting back doesn't feel good. And I'm not saying, you know, look, sometimes our friends can be very direct with us and it can be a little like, whoa, but they're being direct out of love. They're really saying, hey, you have to see this, you know, see this reality of this, try to see this perspective of this. That's different, right? Because sometimes, you know, there can be the most love when people are being real with us that way. I don't mean that. I mean, like, you really feel like you're not being seen. Like, it's almost like somebody's letting you fester in it somehow, you know? And it doesn't have to be a bad person that you never talk to again. They're just simply not the person that you share those things with. And for some of you, maybe you shared with someone you shouldn't, and it's just, you know what, you go on and you learn, and there is no shame in it. There is no shame in being human. If they used that in some capacity that was like dark and not cool, that is their crap to deal with. That is not for you to have shame because you were trying to reach out and connect. And again, we just learn, we move on. Because there's healing here with the star. You know, there's new perspectives. There's being in our healing process. There is connecting with the higher self. You know, tapping into the higher self as your main guidance system. That no matter how many, you know, wonderful mentors we have, or elders in the family that we really trust to have wonderful advice for us, or friends that really get us and we can talk to, or whether it be therapists, coaches, energy healers, whatever, you know, people that we trust, that you are your own, you know, you are your own medicine. You have the medicine that you are seeking. You are your own shaman. You are your own first healer. And you have to trust that your intuition, that your inner knowingness, that your gut is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And a lot of times, if we take a moment to pause before rushing, we can really tap into what is true to ourselves. A lot of times it was really there, that maybe that person wasn't the best, or we knew in the middle of the conversation, but often when we're dysregulated in the nervous system, it becomes very difficult to feel into the body and to trust. And so we're just learning more and more and more when you get activated, when the nervous system gets deregulated, how to bring yourself back, even just to have the awareness, I'm dysregulated, is huge. Because once you have the awareness, I'm dysregulated, I feel like I'm in freeze, then that's where the space is created. And from that space, you can begin to feel more of your feelings and be in the body and connect with your own inner strength. Connect to the sun that is lighting you up within yourself. Connecting to, the place where you are both the gentle lamb and the ferocious tiger, and they both exist within you. And one doesn't have to sacrifice itself for the other. It's the gentleness, the vulnerability, the strength, the resilience. They work together. And that's what's being integrated right now. And with the Tower, it really is about letting it, I think you have already let go of a lot of these old ways of thinking, old ways of speaking, old ways of looking at things, not noticing the red flags. And this Tower is saying it has, what you have needed to release has released. It is releasing. And it's time to trust yourself. It's time to trust your own medicine. And, often we'll share our medicine with others, our service to the world, our gifts, our talents, our intelligence. But we keep it from ourselves a little bit. And so you might want to have a Tower moment giving yourself your own medicine. So maybe take a moment to pause, do a little meditation, whatever that means to you. It can mean taking a walk on the beach. It can mean taking, a walk in a park. It could mean, putting some music on and breathing. It could mean cooking. It could mean intentionally cooking. And as you're chopping the things, you're like, yeah, I'm chopping up and like cutting out what I don't need. That's for some of you out there, to cook. And to be active in the meditation. So you feel this physicalness and this stillness of mind and getting into the body works together. So you can try different things this week, Breath work is wonderful if you have trouble being still, breathwork meditation. I have some meditations that I created on this channel. Some of them are just about releasing and letting go. I also have some meditations where you can connect with the Celtic tree plants, and there's like a million different things on YouTube. But you also might want to think about gardening or planting something. And if you're in a city, maybe it's like a little tiny porch garden thing, but maybe it's about, as you're planting, recognizing all the things that you've let go of. So you're giving yourself your own jolt of a Tower moment with your own personal medicine. And yeah, it might feel, there might be some activation. That's because your medicine is friggin' strong. So that's the week. I hope that you check out the career path on Wednesday, check out love on intimacy on Friday. I'm going to be doing the zodiac signs starting in February. And please let me know in the box below what other kind of readings that you would like, what other kind of conversations that we can have here together. Let me know below comments what resonated with you. Please give me a thumbs up. And if you want to hang out more and are curious, I would love it if you would subscribe. It would mean the world to me, and I would love to connect with you more. So that is it. I will see you next week. And I make these readings for you. And I hope to see you back often. Bye.